Welcome to the A to Z of best MAME games.
Watch right here. Don't blink, you'll miss it.
What? How is that even possible?
What do you mean how? Because I'm Billy Mitchell.
Yes!
Now that's something you would have heard in the movie.
That is a soundbite.
Take it away, Leroy.
Leroy Jenkins!
Here we go. Time to get hyped once again. It's the A to Z of MAME. And here we have the letter C for you today. And this is a Capcom classic. It's Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. And the name is quite apt because it's the Cadillac of side-scrolling beat-em-ups. And this game carries on from Final Fight from Capcom. This is 1993. With Final Fight they nailed how to make it a side-scrolling beat-em-up. And with Cadillacs and Dinosaurs they perfected the art. They took it to a new level. And it looks and plays amazing. I mean, it's got a T-Rex in the game. How can you get better than that? It's an A-grade game. Add a T-Rex to it, and it's an A+ game. You can pick up multiple weapons, guns, sticks, swords, and even bazookas. As you can see, there's different variations to the levels. Here's a little side level. You've got 4 different characters. They all play different, they all have their own different movesets. And there's lots of different body sprites. They all have their own look. And like Final Fight, they all have their own names and energy bars. And the dinosaur sprites are just fantastic. They're massive. And there's a beastly T-Rex. And there you see a Blanca alike from Street Fighter 2. It's not Blanca, but it's not far off. And I've seen a few Blanca alikes in a few Capcom games. And this is just a fantastic game. Try it. It's in the top tier of side-scrolling beat-em-ups, alongside Konami's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Simpsons. And here I've made some improvements to the series. I've acquired Hyperspin. And Hyperspin is just a fancy front end for MAME. Makes everything look nice and fancy when you're selecting games. All posh like, all bling, and if you know me, I'm all about the bling. And here's our next game, Change Air Blade. It's a top-down scrolling shoot 'em up. And it's from Sammy in the year 1999. And it's not your typical vertical scrolling shmup where you have a long level with loads of enemies. You're pitted against another ship the whole level. So the whole level is like one big boss fight. And you deplete the boss's energy so far and then it links up with a mothership. And for this boss, the mothership is a tank. And the shooting system is pretty good in this game. You've got a top of fire button, fast shoot, and then if you hold the fire button, your ship does a fast transform and sort of tanks. The ship slows down, but your weapon turns more powerful. And you collect power-ups on the way, and you can unleash many different attacks. And you've got 8 ships to choose from. The way they work and the way they fire are all vastly different from each other. And the ships you can choose are the boss characters in the game, so you've got 8 levels for the 8 ships you can choose. And it's nice when you transform into the tank mode, because it slows your ship down, and if it's bullet hell, you can sort of navigate a little bit better through the bullets, so you're not flying all over the screen and accidentally crash into a bullet. Also like the Toho games, which have a slow down button, if you want to pronounce it Toho or Toho, whichever way you roll on that. And the sound effects, I love the gun sound effects. They sound great. Fast shoot and tank shoot sound differently to each other. Watch, I'll do it fast transform here. See how it tanked up? And that's just by holding the fire button instead of tapping it. And here's another game from 1999. It's Crazy Taxi from Sega. Now, I'm not a big fan of arcades that went into 3D, polygon based. It started going downhill big time and the gameplay just wasn't there and the inventiveness of games just disappeared. But there is a few exceptions here. Crazy Taxi, as in the title, it's crazy. The inventiveness was there, it wasn't just another driving game. It could be given the title of a true arcade game. It's fun, the graphics are good, the gameplay is good, and the sound's awesome. It's got real songs. I think that's Offspring in the background. And I hope it doesn't give this video a copyright flag. And Crazy Taxi got a near perfect port to the Sega Dreamcast, and you can get it on the Android now, and I think it's arcade perfect, which is pretty impressive. Like, and the object of the game is just pick up passengers in a taxi. So on to the next game. Let's see what we have. Let's spin the wheel of fortune. Bottom left there you can see the details. Cyberbots Full Metal Madness 1995 from Capcom. I love Hyperspin. Haha. A few different characters to choose from. Nice artwork there. And you've got different classes of robots. And there's 3 robots in that class. And it's just a fighting game. And this is a Capcom game, and Capcom's a seal of quality. You see the Capcom logo and you know it's a pretty good game. The graphics and sound are on point. I mean, look at the sprites are brilliantly detailed. It's basically Street Fighter with robots. And the best thing to do when you start is just try the Street Fighter moves to find out the specials. Hadouken, Shoryuken, down, diagonal, forward, and fire. And if that doesn't work, press down, diagonal, and back. If that doesn't work, hold back 2 seconds, press forward and fire. And it's sort of a spiritual sequel to Armored Warriors, which I covered in A to Z of MAME A. But that was a side-scrolling beat 'em up. It used the same kind of mecha. I'm not sure if it uses the same ones, but they're very similar. And Cyberbots is very worthy of slotting in your favourite beat 'em ups folder in MAME. Stick that bad boy in. That's what she said. And you can see each robot is vastly different from the other. They've all got their own different attributes and the way they played, and the specials are completely different from each other. It's got a nice look and feel, it's very colourful. This is from 1995 and the graphics are excellent, but in 1995 sprite based games were getting overlooked for 3D games, polygon based games, because it was new and impressive at the time. But over time, looking at it now, sprite based games look better than polygon based games. The way they look today, the age scaling's different. Early 3D looks terrible, and today some sprite based games look really good and have their own little style. When 3D games came out, that was it, that was the big thing. It looked so impressive at the time because it was brand new and we've never experienced anything like that before, but over time the 3D games look worse than the sprite based games even from earlier. And even some of the gameplay was worse, much worse. I'd take an early sprite based game over an early 3D based game any day. It did improve driving games infinitely, but other genres it killed and ruined. And boy didn't we get a lot of driving games when it turned 3D. And yeah, this is Cabal from TAD, 1988.
You son of a bitch!
And the company TAD was made up from ex-employees of Data East. And they made Blood Brothers, which is sort of a spiritual sequel to this. It's the same gameplay, but it's cowboys instead of army men. And I used to love this game. I used to have this on the ZX Spectrum, and it was a pretty good port to the ZX Spectrum. It wasn't the same graphically by half, but they got the gameplay right, and it had its own little graphical style which fit the Spectrum. And I think Cabal had only 3 minutes loading time for the Spectrum, rather than the later games 10 minutes from a tape. Just imagine 10 minutes to load up a game. Crazy times. Here we go, spin the wheel. And here is Cybattler from Jaleco, 1993. And this is a shmup. Here we go. Nice opening sequence there. It sets the scene perfectly. Instead of a spaceship, it's a robot. It's a top-down, vertical scrolling shmup. And the graphics are nice and colourful. And Jaleco, I would say, they're a tier 2 arcade game maker. Made games like Saint Dragon, Exerion, Earth Defense Force, Jaleco Rally, and 64th Street, among others. And they made a few games for the SNES like Rival Turf and Brawl Brothers. And you've got a gun that shoots pink laser things, and you've also got a close range sword, and you can shoot in any direction. You can turn round, shoot diagonal, turn round, shoot backwards. And here you'll see swiping with the sword. Yeah. And he's a nice big boss. And I hate this lobster thing boss. Pretty hard. Crab type thing. It's crabtacular. Nice Caveman Ninja from Data East, 1991. And Data East were a top tier arcade game maker. I put them just behind Capcom, Konami and Sega in terms of how many games they made and how many of the best quality games they made. They made a few big titles: Bad Dudes and Dragon Ninja, Robocop, Sly Spy, Burger Time, and a few good pinball machines also, like Simpsons, Turtles, Robocop. And Caveman Ninja got many ports: Mega Drive and a reworked version for the SNES. And it got a sequel, but it wasn't called Caveman Ninja 2, it was called Joe and Mac 2, and that was SNES only. And it's a fun little game, loads of variation to the levels. Different kind of levels rather than scrolling along platformer. And here's Captain Commando. And this is another top tier side scrolling beat 'em up. Again Capcom. And Captain Commando came from Capcom's CP S1 board. And to put it basically, the boards inside the cabinets are just the hardware. It's like a console inside the cabinet, and the names and the numbers are what level the hardware is on. And rather than fixed hardware all the time, boards were updated and replaced in a short space of time, so it wasn't always fixed hardware like with consoles. You'd have a console for 5 or 6 years. Boards were changing all the time and getting upgraded. Faster CPUs, graphics chips, sound chips, bigger colour palettes, more sprites on screen. And the boards when released, they're already ahead of consoles when they came out, like the SNES and Mega Drive, and each new board was much better than the last. And there's another Blanca alike. And bets are, if there's a fat guy in a game, he will most likely breathe fire. To give you an idea what games came off the CPS board, CPS1: Final Fight, Street Fighter 2, Mercs, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, UN Squadron, Ghouls and Ghosts, Forgotten Worlds, Three Wonders, The Multi-Game, Knights of the Round, Strider, and many more. Contra! Booyah! This is a classic. Many will have played or heard about the NES game Contra. And it also had the names Gryzor and Probotector. But everyone knows it is Contra. and it's a fast-paced run and gun side-scrolling shooter. And here is some sexy ass flyer work. Sexy lady there. Contra, Irresistible Force. A nice soundtrack here, it's quite famous. There's Dutch, and there's this NES game box. You'll all remember, and if you don't, look at it. And on the left is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and on the right is Sylvester Stallone. May as well be. That's where they got the influence. And this is from Space Year 1987. And taking you back to 1987, some of the big movies were Dirty Dancing, Batteries Not Included, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, Masters of the Universe, Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol, no but seriously, Robocop, Predator, The Running Man, Lethal Weapon, The Untouchables, and many more. Woo-ha! It's Commando! There's a sweet ass arcade cab.
We pick up their trailer, the chopper, run them down, grab those hostages, and bounce back across the border before anybody knows we were there.
Looks pretty cool, the arcade. Needs some nice marquee artwork. Commando was a pretty big game at the time. 1985 from Capcom. And it was followed by Mercs. And the hero was Super Joe, who made an appearance in Mercs and Bayern Commando. And it was one of the first games to use the run and gun gameplay, and it got ports to every system going. All the home computers. BBC Micro, Acorn Electron, ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64 Amstrad, Amiga, Atari ST, and a couple of consoles like the NES and the Intellivision. Can you believe it? I used to play the ZX Spectrum version. It was very hard, very hard. It was very popular at the time. And there's Super Joe doing what he does, smoking a fag. That's what you do after a hard day's battle. Suck on some smokes. And knowing Super Joe, he's always conscious about his surroundings. So when he's finished his smoke, he'll put it on the floor and make sure he stubs it out with his foot, because he doesn't want to cause any forest fires. And he's the boss level. Whoops. See that? I died through a glitch. Now he's taking in refreshments, rehydrating, but no joy, it might be a bit of whiskey in that canteen. Fight hard, play hard, die hard.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Oh, everybody loves a bit of Centipede. It's a fantastic, fast-paced game made by Atari, and I remember this from the Atari 2600, which I had. It was one of the best games on the 2600. It had many bad games, but this was a good one, a pretty good port. It was developed by a guy called Ed Long, and he worked for Atari and he developed Super Breakout, Centipede sequel Millipede, the Gauntlet series, Asteroids, and others. So he made some big games for Atari. And I think the world record for this game is, I think it's over 16 million points, and it was made by Jim Schneider, and that was in 2004. And Centipede was a big money maker in the arcades. It sold nearly 60,000 units and made nearly $200 million, that's with inflation. And this is Carrier Air Wing. It's a sequel to UN Squadron, and I don't know why it wasn't called UN Squadron 2, and the look of it's very similar. And your commander is an older Sean Connery. So many influences from movies and games. When you start to play through a lot, you see so many influences. The graphics are very nice. Then it's a jet fighter game. You get 3 different ships to choose from. And the main world record for this, at Twin Galaxies, is 2,200,000 plus, and that's held by Richard Piper. It was made in 2009. So if you want to go for the world record, aim for 2 million. Practice, 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 and be the best. And one of the ships where the aeroplanes is an F-14 jet fighter, which was featured in Afterburner, and it was mainly made popular in the movie Top Gun. And you learned a lot of things from games and movies as a child. I didn't know anything about guns or aeroplanes, but from games and movies I learned a lot of information. I didn't know what an F-22 was, I didn't know what an Uzi was, Heckler und Koch, till I saw them in games and movies, and then that's how I learned stuff. And I remember the film Die Hard had some good guns. Hans Gruber's foot soldiers carried some nice ones. HK-94, Heckler and Koch submachine gun. It's the first time I've seen it, so I looked into it because it looked like a pretty cool fucking machine gun. And we all remember the scene in Terminator where Arnie went into the gun shop and asked for it. Uzi 9mm. I think Uzi 9mm, that was the big gun of the 80s. Not big, but well known because of movies. It was in a lot of movies, and it was... I've never seen machine guns like that before when I was a kid. You always think machine guns and big things you hold in your hand, but this was like a one-hand machine gun. A fucking machine gun you hold in one hand. Little tiny thing. It was just like, it blew people's minds. It blew my mind.
Ready?
And this is Capcom Sports Club from 1997, y'all. And we all know white men can't jump. Just ask Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. And this is a free game. Wait, there's 3 games in one game. Different sports: basketball, tennis, and soccer, or football, as we call it outside the US. And the tennis game's pretty fun. It's a bit like Super Tennis on the SNES. I really like that game. It was fast paced, and it was, I don't know, the gameplay was just fantastic. Very fun to play. And this is the same. And here's the soccer. And it doesn't go out for throw-ins, so it keeps its pace. The ball just bounces off the sides. Yeah! Goal! And for the comic book fans, here's Cap.
Iron!
Captain America and the Avengers. And I picked Iron Man because everybody wants to be Robert Downey Jr. And you will meet lots of body characters from the comics who I don't have a clue who they are, because comics weren't that big in the UK. I think I saw someone have a Spider-Man comic once, and that's about it. I think the main comics in the UK were just the general ones: Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. In our playground we used to play fights, Double Dragon. We used to fight like Double Dragon. And the Turtles, everybody chose their own turtle character.
You can't escape! You will be the one
And there used to be about 10 Michelangelos and about 5 Leonardos, all fighting. What else we do? We liked horror films, talked about horror films, even though we were like 8 years old. We used to talk about what happened in Return of the Living Dead, and who would win in a fight between Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and Freddy Krueger. So the game, it's got some good bosses. Look at that boss, it's massive. Massive that. That's another big boss. But the side-scrolling beat 'em up levels, they look like, the backgrounds look like comic books. It looks like hand-drawn, it's pretty good. But the sprites are getting small. That's the only problem I've got with this game, that the sprites are small. And by 1991 sprites were getting really big and detailed. But these are really small. And there's the Mandarin. I've heard of the Mandarin. And here's another shmup by Kaneko. This is 1998. It's pretty good. I think it's dragon type ships. And it looks a bit like the Radiant Silvergun dragon ship, but the Silvergun ship in game look far superior in every conceivable way, because I'm a Silvergun fanboy. And they've also got similar looks to the Raven in StarCraft 2. It's got a similar type shape, if anyone's a fan of StarCraft 2 out there. If not, try it, because it's fucking awesome. When I'm not playing MAME games, that's what I play mostly on my PC these days. Online and StarCraft 2, ladder games. I'm up to, I don't practice that much, but I'm up to gold and out in Heartless 1. And I think I was platinum in Wings of Liberty. So I'm not the best player, but it's all about practice. And if anyone wants to hit us up for a game, I'm called Mitsubishi. Same name. Mitsubishi on StarCraft 2, so if you want to friend us or hit us up for a game, hit me up. That's what she said. I'm also Mitsubishi on Steam. I think I'm Mitsubishi on every game. Every game I log into, Mitsubishi's always free. Never have problems with that name. And here is a weird and wonderful little platform gamer, action platformer. Charlie Ninja by Mitchell, 1994. And it's a pretty rare game. I've never seen this one before till I played it in MAME. And it was made by Mitchell. Mitchell didn't make that many games. Their most famous game was Pang, with Buster Brothers. And they made Pang 1, 2 and 3. And it's made up of different levels in different time periods. So there's lots of variation. And I don't know, it's just a fun game. You've got a nice moveset, there's lots of things that you can do in the game. Lots of moves, double jumps, there's lots of power-ups. It's just fun. Oh, that was quick. Right, next game. Spin the Wheel of Justice. Oh yeah, Chase HQ. Come on. It's time to get hyped. Alright. If you always fancied yourself part of a buddy cop team, like Tubbs and Crockett, Riggs and Murtaugh, Taggart and Rosewood, or even Turner and Hooch, this is the game for you, kids. It's Chase HQ. Now Chase HQ, it was pretty much a game changer. It was Taito's answer to Outrun from Sega, and it took the bog standard driving gameplay and added a brand new element where instead of dodging cars, you have to hit cars. In this case, the criminal you're chasing, and you have to catch up to him and hit him till you ram him off the road and then arrest that mofo. And here's an arrest coming up. Great speech synthesis and funky voice acting.
Okay. You're under arrest on suspicion of first-degree murder.
Oh yeah. You got that bitch. Now Chase HQ breathed new life into the racing game genre. It opened the doors for new gameplay and added the new element. And it influenced games like Road Rash and DB Cop. And the graphics are sounded both sweet as a nut. Sweet as a nut, mate. Here's another arrest.
Okay. You're under arrest on suspicion of armed robbery and murder.
And murder. Yeah, everything looks nice. And it got ports to lots of systems, lots of home systems. It got so-so ports for a lot of systems, but the standout game was on the ZX Spectrum and the Amstrad. And even with its little power, the ZX Spectrum version got a really good conversion. It got high scores all around from all the magazines like Joe Sinclair, Sinclair User, Crash, and Computer Plus Video Games. And it was a follow-up to the earlier Taito game, Full Throttle. This is Cyberlip from SNK, and this is 1990. This game would have been on the Neo Geo. Arcade perfect, as always for the Neo Geo. And it's a pretty fun run and gun platformer. And it was sort of a precursor to the Metal Slug series, which was massively popular for SNK. It was a massive game, and it was SNK's answer to Konami's Contra. And as you can see, there's nice little gameplay mechanics like this. Through the levels you can grab onto the rails and shimmy along. Like this bit, it's pretty nice. And there's a few different weapons. I think there's 4 different weapons to choose from, and you can select between them anytime with one button. So you have a normal shot, the auto shot, and you've got a little bullet counter down there in the bottom left. You've got a freeway shot. It's not a brilliant freeway shot, it just waves the gun about. I think you've got a missile shot as well. And he's Chelnov, Atomic Runner, from Data East, and I'll just do my run through the level. I think this was my second run. The first run was just a practice, and this is my second. And this is how I did it. I missed a lot of power-ups. It's just memorising the level. At first look I thought, oh, this game's crap. I remembered it because it had a Genesis port. I thought, oh, it's not very good, but once you start playing it, it's a pretty good game. And the game scrolls forcibly, so as the screen scrolls you have to navigate through the level. It's good to memorise the level, have a memory of the level to get through it, remember what's coming, and now you have to navigate it. Yeah, and in 1988 it wasn't the best game graphically, and it got a Mega Drive port, but it was called the Atomic Runner, I remember it as. And I don't think I played it on the Mega Drive. It's got a nice little soundtrack. Yeah, and this was Data East. It doesn't look like a typical Data East game, but the main character, the animation seemed to be pretty good at the time. More realistic than other animations. It was quite smooth and realistic. And it was before Prince of Persia, but when Prince of Persia came out, that set a new standard for realistic type animations of characters. And Chelnov came out as kind of a trio of games, with CarnEvil and Trio the Punch. And he's the boss character. Whoops. Didn't expect that. And here's Captain Tomaday from Visco. And this is from 1999, so I do remember this, but 1999 wasn't the heyday for sprite-based games, and arcades themselves were pretty much dying out. But this was released on the Neo Geo, so Neo Geo got support well into its later life. Then you're a tomato, and you've got 2 fire buttons, left punch, right punch. So you can hit with each and power up the other, you hold the other and power it up. Or you can hit with both if you press both. Oh, and that was quick. And here's Championship Wrestler. Absolutely flying through these games today. Flying through them. And who should I pick? The big guy versus the tiny guy. So here we have a big boot guy, the heel, and all this guy will do is just stick his big boot out. Yeah. And I think I completely nailed this opponent. Look at the size. Get down. And all I do is continuously put my big boot in the face of the face. Face gets it. Superfly Jimmy Snooker. I don't mind a good wrestling game. There's a pretty few good wrestling games out there, but the best ones are the WWF games.
1, 2, 3.
What? What? He beat us! After all that, he beat us! These Championship Sprint from 1986 Atari. This is a pretty famous game, and this was the follow-up to Super Sprint from Atari, and it got ports to nearly every home system going. Yeah, I think Super Sprint was the first kind of this game, and it spawned many a copy. Ivan Iron Man's Super Off-Road Racing, Danny Sullivan's Indy Heat, and it got another sequel, Badlands. And it's pretty simple gameplay, you just navigate around the track. It's a 4-player game, so if you want to play 4 players with your friends. And that's what you'll be looking at if you stood up to the arcade. And here's another famous game, Choplifter from Sega in 1985. And it's a remake of the earlier version of Choplifter for home consoles and computer. I remember playing the VIC-20 version at a friend's house when I was very young, early 80s, and just being hypnotised by the new gameplay. And I think he also had, what else did he have? I think he had Empire Strikes Back as well on the Atari when we played that. I vividly remember being in that person's house and playing Choplifter, the Empire Strikes Back. I'm talking like early 80s, 1983, 84. And the idea of the game is navigate from your home base, left or right, first level left, and break them out of the prison, and then drop down to the floor and pick each little character up, and then take them back to the home. And there they are, little characters, cute little things. And your enemies are trying to stop you. Roll the wheel of justice. And here's Crystal Castles, another very famous game from the time. And I remember this, an early memory of arcades. When my mum and dad used to take us to a pub, they used to take us to this pub round the corner on a Friday night, and they used to sit and have a few drinks and get me an orange juice. And there used to be 2 arcades there, and they used to sit us down, give us a load of 10 pences, and I used to play on the arcades. There was 2, and I think at first there was Crystal Castles and Pac-Man. No, it was Crystal Castles and Space Invaders, a cocktail and a stand-up one. And then they got replaced by a cocktail of Bomb Jack and a stand-up Pac-Man. And I used to sit all night and play them. And I think the Crystal Castles game was the rollerball game, where you control it with a rollerball. And it's very, I just remember it being hard. I was very young. It was very finicky with a rollerball. And even with a joypad, it's pretty finicky to control. But I used to love the graphics. I thought they were amazing at the time. I mean, look at the 3D effect on that. I mean, it's just colour shading on the different angles, but I don't know, it just looked so great at the time. And at that point, we only had it in television in the home. That's all we had in the home. It's time to get scared. It's the next game. And here we are. Here's Johnny. He's CarnEvil. Now, CarnEvil, it ran on the 3D effects chip, which was basically a PC graphics card, a GPU. And Midway were having quite a renaissance around this time. They released lots of games like NFL Blitz, Cruis'n Exotica, Rampage World Tour, Bio Freaks, Hydro Thunder, and many others. And as you can see, it's a light gun game. Shoot the screen. Shoot the bad guys on the screen, and it's all horror themed. And it travels you on a little journey around a fairground. And people have a lot of love for this game. You did find this game in many a bowling alley or places like that. Places of recreation. And I'm not a big massive fan of light gun games, but this is one of the top ones, along with House of the Dead, Time Crisis, Operation Wolf and Thunderbolt, Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park. Here's one for arcade fans out there. He's Crackdown from Sega, 1989. And here's a lovely opening intro here, some very nice artwork. I thought I'd let the whole thing play through. He's the various bad guys, and the big boss, who seems to be the devil. Yeah, this is Crackdown from Sega, and it's no relation to the Xbox 360 2007 Crackdown. I was quite surprised when I heard about Crackdown come to the Xbox 360. I thought Sega were going to remake Crackdown, but no, it's no relation whatsoever. And it's a top-down view, similar to Gauntlet. Top-down view, stealth-based game. There is some heavy stealth-based elements in it, where you creep around corners and you can hug the walls, and the enemy doesn't know you're there till he sees you, then he reacts, and he goes all batshit crazy. And the idea is to look on the mini-map on the top, and you see the red crosses with the arrows pointing at them. You just go to them and you automatically plant a bomb on the spot, and once you've put bombs on all the spots, you can leave the level and the level blows up. And I would say Crackdown had some influence on the recent game Hotline Miami, which is available on Steam and PS3, Xbox 360. I'm not dwelling too long on games this time. I'm trying to cut the gameplay down, because there's many games to get through, and I'm hitting nearly an hour every series. Even though I'm cutting the gameplay down, but I'm just trying to fit all the best games in. The games worth playing or the games worth noting, I'm trying to fit in to the letter, so nothing's missed, everything's covered, all the bases are covered. And he's Clutch Hitter from Sega. This is 1991. I'm not a big fan of baseball, but I don't know, I like this game. I like the graphics. The graphics are pretty nice. And it's a nice baseball game. It's got nice little touches like that. And I roll through it. Come on. Next game please. Columns. Ooh, columns. Right, this is Sega's answer to Tetris. Tetris was a massively popular game in the 80s. It was the game that shifted 1 million units for Game Boy. It was the killer app for the Game Boy, and Sega decided they needed a piece of the action and created their own puzzle game to launch with the Game Gear, hoping that this game would shift 1 million Game Gears. And it sort of did. It's successful in what it does. It's a decent puzzle game, but it's not half as good as Tetris. Tetris is a superior game. Now, I had a Game Gear, I think at launch or on the Christmas after launch, and I'm not really a big fan of handhelds till the later Game Boy versions, and I played it to death on the Game Gear till I was sick of the music and just tired of it. And I owned the Mega Drive version on the 3-in-1 game with Super Hang-On and World Cup Italia. Okay, I'll let Gunnery Sergeant Harmon take command of this one. Take it away, Sergeant Harmon.
Private Joker, why did you join my beloved corps? Sir, to kill, sir! So you're a killer? Sir, yes, sir! Let me see your war face. Sir! You got a war face? Ah! That's a war face! Now let me see your war face! Ah! Bullshit! You didn't convince me! Let me see your real war face! Ah! You don't scare me! Work on it! Sir, yes, sir! Where in the hell are you from anyway, Private? Sir, Texas, sir! Holy dog shit! Texas, only steers and queers come from Texas, Private Cowboy. And you don't much look like a steer to me, so that kind of narrows it down. Do you suck dicks? Sir, no, sir! Are you a Peter Pupper? Sir, no, sir! I'll bet you're the kind of guy that would fuck a person in the ass and not even have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around. I'll be watching you.
Woohoo! How can I follow that? And if you want to know what that is, that's a clip from the movie Full Metal Jacket. And this, of course, is Combat School, a Konami game from 1988. And I don't think I played the arcade game. And what you need after a hard day's training to be a war machine stone cold killer is a good old smoke, and to stand up in an awkward position pretending to lean against a wall. And at the end of your training, you want nothing more than to pay back your drill sergeant and give me a little bit of that good old sweet chin music. There you go, you passed with flying colours. Well done, well done. You are now a killer machine. And a goddamn sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex. All stand for the national anthem. And some terrorists are taking over the White House. And it's your duty, you super duper uber soldier man, to open the can and whoop ass on them. Alright, this is Checkered Flag. This is from Konami again, 1988. Nice little opening sequence there. Oh, and look at this, a lovely bit of Mode 7. And see the clouds there, they're like laid differently to the ground. And this shows the depth of games that Konami can bring to the arcades. It's got an awesome soundtrack, this one. Yeah, it's Mode 7. It shows the difference in genres Konami can bring. It's impressive Mode 7 before the Super Nintendo came out. The only thing, the Mode 7 turns with the car animation, so it only turns on certain angles for what the car has an animation for, so it's not smooth analog type rotations. And here's a gorilla starting some shit up, setting fire to the man's tent. The gorilla's the aggressor, so I don't blame the man for wanting revenge. And we'll have a short music interlude through this review. Take it away, Jungle.
Way down deep in the middle of the Congo, a hippo took an every caught the rover on the mango. He stuck up with the others and he danced a dingy tango. The rhino said, I know, we'll call it Umbango. Umbango, the jigga diddy Congo. Python picked the passion from the mama, said the mandarin. The pirate painted bandits got the hunk of voodoo land it is. So when it comes to sun and fun and goodness in the jungle, they all prefer the sunny funny one they call Umbango.
Libby's Umbango. High juice drinks, free from artificial ingredients.
Cool, eh? And this is Continental Circus, 1987 from Taito. Nice little open sequences here. And the sexy lady, and it all looks pretty cool. All the guys running away with the sexy lady. And there's the arcade cab. It's actually a 3D cab, where it's 3D vision, and things fly out of the screen in your face. Stuff flies out into your face. That's what she said. There, see the stuff flying out. Right, when you're in the cab, it's 3D. You put your face in this 3D mask and look through the glasses. Whoa, look at that! It's nearly as good as Jaws 3. Fuck me. I don't know. I don't think any 3D is as good as Jaws 3. At the end, when the shark's coming through the window, Louis Gossett Jr. and Dennis Quaid are in that underwater control room, and they can see the shark in the distance through the glass. They can see it coming towards them. It's coming through the window, and then the window smashes, and all the glass breaks out, and it's off. If you have your 3D glasses on, fucking hell. Then the Jaws goes through the glass, and it just keeps going. It comes out of the screen at you. And the bit with the hand under the water when the hand's floating about, and you see that, like, the severed bit of the hand. Oh, gross. And then the same with the fish's head. It's basically the same thing, but just the fish's head floating about. I don't know. Maybe Friday the 13th Part 3 3D was better. The yo-yo and the juggling when they were juggling. Yeah, that was rocking. When Jason had the pitchfork and he come towards the camera with the pitchfork. Oh, that'd be awesome. awesome 3D. And the bit where he's on the end of the pier and he shoots the harpoon and you can see it going down a wire. When he's got the mask on off Shelly. Better than anything nowadays. I don't know. 3D's just as bad nowadays. Cool runnings. This is a game of the movie of the Jamaican bobsled team. John Candy's the end of level boss. He's had someone in a wheelchair. Yeah. I'm very impressed by this opening sequence there. Looks very nice. All the circles forming Cosmic Cop. And this is Cosmic Cop, or Gallop, by Irem, who made R-Type my favourite shooter. And this one's okay, it's not top tier. I like the lock-on weapon, and that's about it. The ships are too big, they should be a little smaller. They're nice and detailed, but they're too big. The ship design isn't brilliant. And I just look like that lock-on effect. I suppose if you're into shmups, it's worth a play. And this is 1991. Yeah, Irem wasn't as big as companies like Konami or Capcom or Sega. Didn't release as many games. But they did have a few big franchises and a couple of big games. R-Type was the main franchise, I would say. Bomberman was a big one for them. Kung Fu Master was a big game. And the follow-up to Kung Fu Master, Vigilante, Lord Runner, Ninja Spirit and Dragon Breed, as well as others. So they did have quality games, even though they didn't release that many. There was quality games in the ones they did release. But I'd say R-Type was the main breadwinner for Irem, most definitely. And this game is Cosmo Gang from Namco, and this is a Space Invaders clone, or I should say it's an upgrade on Galaga and Galaxian, also from Namco, rather than Space Invaders. Yeah, and it's a fun and fantastic game. And it takes the Galaga Galaxian gameplay, pumps it up, throws a few more things into the mix. It's all nice and colourful. It's just a fun little game. What? He's cotton by Success and Sega. This is 1991, yo. I am Cornholio. I need TP from my bunghole. Ha ha ha. Cornholio likes cotton. It's very good game. Yeah, Cotton, it's a successful series from Success for Sega. Cornholio likes it. It's very good game. It's very good game, and it runs on the Sega 16B board. And the B in 16B stands for bunghole. Cornholio's bunghole. Give me your TP. There is good boss characters. This is Cotton 2. This is very good game. Also, bunghole. Alright, Cornholio, back in your box now. Back in your box, Cornholio. Yeah, this is Cotton 3, Cotton Boomerang. This is from 1998, and it's all 3D-tastic. As you can see, it all looks very impressive. It's all flashy and shiny and 3D and sprite scale and rotation and all kinds of effects. Looks pretty nice. Look at that. All fire effects and stuff. Looks pretty awesome, so give it a go if you like shmups. Give it a fucking go. Why don't you? You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Right, This one's going to blow your doors off. This is Cyberball, and it'll blow your little cotton socks off. And it's American football, a futuristic American football with robots. Now you've got different mechs for the different positions, and the idea is, yes, it's American football, but there's a timer on the ball, and if you don't get it to the touchdown, it'll blow up. The touchdown area diffuses the bomb, and you've got loads of different players. This was ported to the, I remember it being ported to the Mega Drive, and it was quite faithful. I played it on that. Speedball's another futuristic sports game, but nothing beats the Madden on the Mega Drive. Once that came out, that was it. That was the best American football game till that point. Madden on the Mega Drive. Is it Madden 92 or 91? I don't know, but that was the best American football game up to that point. And here we are, Cisco Heat. It's a weird little game. And I say that you get to a corner and you turn, but you don't really have much control on that corner, so it's all nice sprite scaling. Looks pretty good. And this is from Jaleco. But then you get down to the corner, and it like sort of turns on a rotation, but I don't know, it's alright. Spin the motherfucking wheel. Crime City, yo. Alright. If you ever fancied yourself as a hotshot cop, like Dirty Harry, Popeye Doyle, Axel Foley, or Frank Drebin, this is a game for you. Now, there's lots of atmosphere in the cutscenes. It's all hard boiled. Then you just go to town on the punks. Punks have gone crazy, took over the town. It's a lawless town, and then you just unleash a bit of sweet justice onto them. There they've robbed the bank. Then you go in and kick their ass. And if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. And this time it's personal. There you are, and it's a hard target. Do it the hard way. Like Ivan Danko, John Spartan, Matt Cordell, Billy Costigan. It's a police story. You're a narc, and you've got a lethal weapon. And these two lethal weapons, cross swords. He's your dude, please save me. You are a warrior kind of guy. Kind of bro. You are a knight guy, as opposed to a day guy. You are a knight with a shiny helmet, Disco King, throwing disco balls around, sparring with Spartans, and dangerous men and creatures. This is cross swords. This was on the Neo Geo, most definitely. Most Def, Busta Rhymes, RZA, Method Man, ODB. Inspector Deck, Ghostface Killer. There you go. Kill the Ghostface Killer. Then you got special moves, and you can buy weapons and spells and stuff. It's a nice little game. It could be classed as the punch out for the next generation. Here we go. Cruis'n USA from the Cruis'n series, Cruis'n World, Cruis'n Exotica. This is, I think, it's Cruis'n World, second in the series. Sexy lady there, again. In any decent driver game there has to be a sexy lady waving a flag in a bikini. Did we have a sexy lady in Continental Circus? And is he one in Outrun? I don't know, we've had a few. Yeah, it's actually looking pretty decent, this. Looks pretty nice. You've got sprite scaling down to a T. And here's Cybercycles. I'm not a massive fan of polygon based arcade games in the early days. not a great fan. That's why I haven't included that many. I shouldn't really have included this. It does make driving games a bit more realistic, but I'm not a big fan on early polygon based games. And here's Camel Tree from Taito, and 1989 it is, and this runs on the Taito F1 hardware. It's a Mode 7 game, and it was ported to the SNES, and it was called On the Ball, and it does look like a SNES game, but it was ahead of its time. The SNES was released in 1990 in Japan, 1991 in the US, and 92 in Europe, so it was a couple of years ahead of its time. And this one's Chain Reaction from Data East, 1995. And this is just a nice little puzzle game for any puzzle game fans out there. All you do is grab the pieces and try and match the pieces up, and it disappears them. It disappears them. You just match the pieces up. And there's different piece sets. I think I chose the like chess kind this time. You get gems and flowers and stuff like that. It's a nice little game. And here is China Gate from Technos in 1988. It looks like a NES game, but with a bit more colour. It does. I'd never heard of this game before, but I looked at some playthroughs on YouTube and there was some love for it. People did talk about it in the comments, made comments about how they played it in the arcades and spent loads of money on it. There was one guy that commented that it was in his local pizza shop and he spent loads of money on it. So I thought I'd include it just because of that. It's not a completely obscure title. People did actually play it. And here is Kadash, 1989. And this is like an RPG platformer. Gauntlet style, you get to choose your combatant. Warrior, wizard, sorceress. Where it was Valkyrie on Gauntlet. And a dwarf, wasn't it? Again, it's like an RPG platformer. It's okay, there's some nice baddies and boss characters, so I thought I'd include it. There's some nice parts of it. It's not the greatest game. And it does get into the RPG sections a lot, where you go to a village and you're stuck in a village for ages. Nice little boss here. All the balls move about independently. It's quite impressive. And there's the RPG section. You're stuck in this village, you can talk to everybody. Which I found I got stuck for ages. Going in all the houses and there was no reason for the house being there. You just go inside, talk to some random character about nonsense, and then come back out, time wasted. It's an arcade game, it's not Zelda. You know what I mean? Oh, and he's a crazy game. Changing Lanes by Taito, 1983. And I'm not sure how they made this. Is this sprite scaling? Looks like an early version of a Buggy Boy type 3D effect. Okay, this is the end. If you want to go to B or D, click on Batsugun B or Dead or Alive on the D side, which will take you directly to that episode. B or D. Go!
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?